If you got a raise this year and your first move was a new car, a new phone, or a vacation, I need you to watch this before your next paycheck. Quick question before we start. When you get extra money, is your first instinct to buy something or to put it somewhere? Comment your honest answer. No judgment. I used to be exactly the same. Here's the thing nobody tells you about raises. On paper, more money should mean more freedom. But study after study shows that most people who get a raise are just as financially stressed a year later as they were before it. Why? Because of something called lifestyle inflation. Your income goes up, and your spending quietly follows it up the stairs. New income, new car payment. New income, new subscriptions. New income, new "I deserve this" purchase. Meanwhile, there's a small group of people who get a raise and something completely different happens in their bank account. Let's break down exactly what they do differently, starting with what poorer and middle-class Americans typically buy first. When the average American gets a raise, the data says the first purchases usually fall into three categories. 1. Visible upgrades. A newer car, a nicer apartment, name brand everything. It looks like progress. It feels like proof the raise was real. 2. Lifestyle convenience. More takeout, more subscriptions, more small purchases that don't feel big individually but quietly eat the entire raise by month 3. 3. Catching up on debt with more debt. Using the extra income as an excuse to finally get that credit card, buy now, pay later plan, or bigger loan, because now they can afford the payment. None of this is stupid. It's human. When you've been stretched thin for a long time, relief feels like spending. But here's the catch. Every one of these purchases is a liability. It costs you money every single month, forever, whether you keep earning that raise or not. Now here's what wealthy Americans typically do the moment extra income hits. And it's almost boring, which is exactly the point. First, they buy assets, not stuff. Index funds, real estate, shares in a business, something that pays them back over time instead of the other way around. Second, they buy time and leverage. That might mean hiring someone to do a task that's costing them hours or investing in a skill or tool that lets them earn more later. They're not asking, "What does this raise let me consume?" They're asking, "What does this raise let me build?" Third, and this is the one nobody talks about, they buy insurance against disaster. Health coverage, an emergency fund, term life insurance. Boring? Completely. But it means one bad month doesn't erase 5 years of progress. Here's the actual psychological difference. Poorer spending patterns are often driven by relief. I finally can. Wealthy spending patterns are driven by protection and growth. How do I make sure this money makes more money or never disappears? It's not about how much you earn. It's about what your brain does in the first 48 hours after the money lands. And look, I'm not saying never enjoy your money. That's not the flex. The people who build real wealth still treat themselves. The difference is the order. They pay their future self first, savings, investing, protection, and then they spend what's left guilt-free. Most people do it backwards. Spend first, save whatever's left over, which is usually nothing. Same raise, same paycheck, completely different outcome 5 years later, just because of what order the money moves in. So here's my challenge for you. Next time extra money comes in, a raise, a bonus, a tax refund, before you spend a single dollar, ask one question. Is this going to make me money later, or just make me feel good right now? Both are allowed. Just don't let feel good right now go first every time. Now I want to know. Be honest in the comments. When you got your last raise or bonus, what was the first thing you bought? I'll reply to as many as I can, and don't worry, no judgment down there. We've all done it. If this made you rethink your next paycheck even a little, hit subscribe. I'm breaking down how rich people actually think about money differently every week. No fluff, no boring finance bro jargon. See you in the next one.